back. Today's training, we're going to go over workflows and automations workflows. It's all the same thing. They need to really get the naming straight because it's confusing, but it's the same thing. This is going to be beginner. We have way more advanced ones, but this is going to go over the initial setup, what a workflow automation is, and how to get started with it. It's going to be very confusing. I build very advanced workflows and I build super easy ones. So let's kind of jump in and kind of go from there. Start by clicking on automation on the left side, and you'll have your workflows tab right here at the top. Now, workflows, like I said, are the same as automations. You can create folders, great for organization, would recommend if you start creating a lot of them. But first, let's start off by creating the workflow and go start from scratch. They do have what they call recipes in here. If you select from a template or aka recipe, it will do some predefined ones for you. If we come over here, for instance, the customer appointment one is a great one. It'll actually automatically insert your emails, your SMS, all that kind of stuff. But the problem with it is it's not going to teach you how they actually work that's doing it all set up for you. So it is great to speed up the process, but I would definitely recommend getting in here and just playing around with this, getting used to it. So let's start off by giving it a name. Test workflow. Okay, triggers. Triggers what starts the process. The contact cannot come into this if they're not triggered into it somehow. However, you do not need a trigger to have the start because you can technically trigger an automation to start from another automation. But like I said, to keep the super basic, let's start with a form trigger. Form triggers are one of the most super common ones. Come over here to form, go ahead and hit submit form. Go ahead and give it a name. Now you can leave it as form submitted, but I usually like to name it. That way when you come in here, you know exactly what it is. So we'll call this test form submission. Go ahead and click on add filters. Every single trigger is going to need some sort of filter. So just get used to adding the filters. In this particular case, we're going to go to form is. We're going to come down here and we're going to go to form test. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now, every time someone fills out my form test, it's going to automatically drop them into this automation. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else you need to do to make that function work. Now the question is, what do you want to happen after they're inside this automation? Go ahead and click on the plus, and this is where you're going to get all of these options, all the way down here to the very bottom. And there's a lot of stuff in here, right? So like I said, we're going to keep the super basic today. I don't want to get advanced. We'll get advanced in some other ones. The first most common one is let's send them an email, right? So if you come over here, there's two types of emails. There's a send email, and then there's a notification. This is for you if you want to send yourself one, and then you have an email to the customer, which is this one. I would say all the time use this. The notification one you technically don't need anymore because they built that feature into the form setting. So if you watch my how to build a form video, I actually go over where that setting's at, so you don't need to use the internal notification anymore. Go over here and give it a name. We'll call this confirmation email. From name, your business name, whatever you want to call it right here. And then we'll just say my business at business.com, whatever your email address is. Subject goes here. And then down here's message. It's as simple as that. You come down here and you can put, hi, Andy. You did an amazing training today. OMG, right? Doesn't everyone want that? Okay, let's talk about this first. This can get confusing. The most common one is the contact section. This is going to be your recipient. Who's that person that's getting it? Don't get this mixed up from user. The user is you. Whoever's logged into the system is the user. So if I were to put user first name, it's going to say, hi, Andy. It's not going to say, hi, Joe Smith. It's going to actually put my name in there. Very common mistake. You want to make sure that you're selecting the contact. So let's come over to contact first name. So hi, contact. You did amazing today. Great job. Now you can come in here and you can actually populate other custom fields. So for instance, let's go back one. If we want to do the appointments, calendars, all this stuff can be driven in here. So if they booked an appointment, you can put, and this is great for the template that I showed you. If you use that, and these are already in here. However, if we come in here and say, your appointment could booked at, come over here, appointment, start date, start time. Your appointment booked out is on this date, this time, just like that. And that's all these custom values will do. You can put as many custom values in here as you want. Talk soon. Just like that. Hit save. Okay. That's how you set up an email. There's nothing more to it than that. One other feature that's very common in emails, and it's up to you if you want to use them, is the template feature. This feature overrides this. So as soon as you select from a template, it automatically gets rid of everything in there. Okay? And you can see how it just deleted everything. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, what are these used for? In a different video, I go over marketing templates. Those templates will populate inside of this area. This is a fancier way to have images, all your graphics, designs, colors, anything you don't want to look basic. Do those tend to go to spam a little bit more? Yes, because they're newsletter-ish. They look marketing-based. This doesn't look marketing-based. This looks like you manually typed out an email, and it looks a little bit more personalized. So just keep that in mind when you're creating these. The next one down is SMS. If your system is set up to send out SMS, this is how you would do it. Same situation, confirmation, SMS. You can see that these names I'm typing in just pop up right here. It's just for you to know what it's for. That way it's easier to come in here. Custom fields work exactly the same. So you can come in here and put the contact's first name. You are confirmed on same situation. If you want to do the appointment scenario again, we come over here and the time. And then I'll get an SMS message. Nothing to it more than that. Pretty simple, right? Our next one is going to be tags. Tags is another very common thing. I highly recommend having a tag on any scenario that you do. It's great for tracking. We are all about tracking at our marketing agency, and one of the easiest ways to track is to just use a tag. You can sort by tags. You can use your dashboard with tags. There's so many different situations that just tags come in handy. And it's kind of like a paper trail. It just helps you feel good knowing that they were tracked from everything that they did. So I definitely recommend using tags. I even have a whole video that goes over in tagging naming conventions that is best for your business to keep things organized. So make sure you watch that. Tags. Okay, so in this particular case, let's just go over and say, let's call this test workflow registered. Okay, whatever you want to call it. If it's whatever your campaign is, your webinar, name that tag, say that they registered, hit save. As simple as that, your tag is done. Finally, as far as easy stuff to do, you have your opportunities. Opportunities, whole nother training video. However, this is where it starts. You can't have an opportunity start unless you add them to the opportunity. Opportunities are used for tracking people through a process. If you have a funnel running and you want to track your leads to your sales, you would use an opportunity. This is how you start the opportunity. You all come in here. We can give it a name again. You can just say, add to pipeline registered. Select your pipeline, whatever it is. We'll just select one of my random ones in here. In this case, new lead. Opportunity name. Okay, let's get into this one. I usually will do, and this you can put anything you want. There's no right or wrong, and I do recommend testing it out so you can get the best flow for what works for your business. But I will generally put the client's name, and then we'll put whatever we want after that. So, Andy registered for XYZ, or whatever you want, because that's going to show up in the actual opportunity. The source. You have a couple different ways you can do this. If you're running an ad that's coming from Facebook and this funnel or this automation is specifically for Facebook only, you can literally just type in Facebook right here. And that way you know that it came from Facebook. However, if it's a dynamic situation, you can come over here and type in attribution. Let's see if we could find attribution in here. I don't know why it didn't come up. So I went over here to attribution, go to first, and then we can go in and select all sorts of stuff, right? In this case, I'm just going to say, it's probably the session source. Yep, we'll go to session source. This is the system automatically trying to figure out your session source. I would say it's about 95% accurate. I haven't seen too many where the session source has been completely wrong, but that's just a heads up on that one. The value is great for tracking purchases. So if you are doing a purchase funnel and you want to know the purchase, it'll actually add up everything for you. And then go ahead and hit the save action when you're done, and you've officially created your pipeline. That is your beginner workflow. You have now set up an automation. When you're all ready, you just go ahead and hit publish, hit save, and you're good to go. A few other things I'm going to run through up here at the top, and then watch our other videos for more advanced stuff, because there's a lot of things you've seen in here. Like this can get pretty advanced in different things that we do, but this is just your basic startup today. Settings. You should know your settings. Allow re-entry. This is going to allow the contact to come back into this workflow multiple times. If you're running a scenario where you don't want that to happen, I would make sure you turn this off. I would say the most common scenario where you do want it to happen is appointment bookings. If somebody is booking on your calendar, you're going to want them to enter that automation multiple times because every time they book, you want them to come back. Make sure it's turned on. If it's turned off, they're not going to be able to come back in here. Allow multiple opportunities. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you're running opportunities and you want them to be added into other opportunities, keep this on. If you want to not allow that, turn it off. I leave it on by default. I haven't run into any problems by not leaving it on. Count time zone. This is the communication side of things. You can set this to contact time zone, which I would probably recommend. Well, I guess it depends on what your use case is, right? If I'm running an event, I'm going to use my account time zone because I really want it to be based off the time zone that my event is taking place. If someone from Eastern Standard Time is booking and I'm on Pacific Time, I want to make sure that's reflecting my Pacific Time. That way, all my event stuff is accurate. So it just depends on the use case that you're using for that. Sender details. You could technically leave your from name and from email out of your emails, and this will automatically default to this. This could be a default thing. It's up to you if you want to use that or not. And those are the settings. Enrollment history. This is going to show you a slew of every contact that's come in here. If they were executed, anything failed, all that kind of stuff. I have separate training that will go over actually troubleshooting some things that can happen in funnels, and I'll get a little bit more into depth into this. But this connects to the execution logs. It helps us identify where the problem took place and where things actually failed and didn't fail. So that's it for today's training. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. I'm Andy, the co-founder of AutomateMe. We're a digital marketing agency that helps entrepreneurs generate more leads and automate their business online. I hope this training gave you some valuable takeaways for using HighLevel. If it did, be sure to like and subscribe to AutomateMe for more trainings and tips.